was about 6 years old. I think it was preschool years. I don't quite remember. It was one of those cold Lithuanian mornings when the air is sharp and wet and the floor is always cold. And my mom had something important going on in her life. I don't remember exactly what it was, but she needed to take time off work. I think a day or maybe even a week. And to get time off work, you needed reason. And her reason was I. That morning, she gave me pomegranate juice to drink. We got dressed and we went to the health clinic to see my primary care doctor. When we arrived at the doctor's office, my mom told the doctor that I had fever the night before, that I was coughing all night, and that I had a sore throat. And my role in that puppet theater was to nod, to act, and to lie. I remember sitting in doctor's office on those stiff benches, plastic Soviet chairs. My mom was rattling off symptoms, talking fast as if she was rehearsing a scene. I just sat there in silence. Sat there in silence with my eyes wide open, staring at the doctor, legs swinging off the bench. I was hoping that the doctor would make eye contact with me, and by doing that, she would be able to read my mind, and when she read my mind, she would know that all of this was a lie. I wanted the doctor to see me and to see the truth, and then to say, "Hey, wait a second. Something is not right here." But she didn't. Instead, she wrote a note and excused my mom from work. And then she prescribed medication, the new kind. The one that you didn't have to swallow anymore, the one that wasn't bitter, the one that was fun for children to chew. It was orange flavor. And this was the first time she was prescribing it to her patient. She smiled, and I wanted to disappear. Here's the thing. At home, lying was a beatable offense. And at church, it was a mortal sin. I remember hearing that liars go straight to hell, that every single sin is written down, and that every single lie is permanent and irredeemable. But somehow, when my mom lied, it was fine. And when I lied, it was a necessity. And when I told the truth, I still got punished. You see, that kind of logic does something to a kid's brain. You start to believe that there is no right choice, only which punishment you would rather risk, the belt or the eternal damnation. A week later, we went for a checkup. I remember going up those stairs, chipped corners. I remember there was a poster on the wall about the need to clean under nails and how important it was. I remember staring at it for hours. And then we went inside the doctor's office. Doctor smiled at me and asked, "How did you like those pills?" I froze. Time stood still. My mind started splitting. Option A, I lie. I tell her I love the pills and they tasted like candy. Option B, I tell the truth. And I thought, if I lie, God will see it. And if I tell the truth, maybe my mom will understand that I did not want to sin. So I said, I didn't take them. I remember how my mom's face changed. Not slow motion. I remember it with perfect clarity. Her jaw locked, her face blushed, she got all red, her fist clenched. And in that moment, I knew my fate was sealed. In my mom's world, I was a puppet. And at that time, I missed the line. I think she felt humiliated because I made her look like a liar in front of somebody with authority. And if there's one thing narcissists hate, it's being exposed. At home, it wasn't just the physical punishment, it was the silence, the coldness, the disappointment. She looked at me as if I had betrayed her. I hadn't just disobeyed, I had embarrassed the director of the theater. I couldn't lie when it helped me, but when it helped her, I had to lie. I couldn't have my own voice unless it echoed hers. Even my morals weren't mine, they were hers, handed down with strings attached. The church told me I was born a sinner, and my mom told me I was born to serve. And I believed both. So even when I told the truth, it was not liberating. It was dangerous. I look back now and I realize that wasn't just a memory. That was a lesson. That was one of the earliest scripts handed in my mom's theater. And I internalized a set of beliefs. Your truth doesn't matter, only their version of it does. Don't be honest unless it benefits somebody else. Guilt is a leash. That's how kids lose themselves. That's how we grow up to be adults who apologize for everything. Adults who over-explain. Adults who panic when we say something real. That day at the doctor's office probably seemed like a simple event from the outside. A mom and her kid getting a note. But on the inside, I was splitting. I remember sitting in Sunday school and learning about hell and judgment and sin, and it wasn't just some abstract concept out there. It was real terrifying. I was 6 years old when I had to decide between betraying my mom or betraying God. And it was a silent war. No one could see it because all that they saw from the outside was a good, polite, obedient, well-raised girl. But on the inside, I was constantly negotiating my own innocence. Fast forward to adulthood, that wiring didn't just leave. I carried it on my back like a backpack full of rocks. I became hyper responsible, over apologetic, scared to disappoint. I rehearsed conversations in my head before they happened, weighing different options like a chess game. And when conflict happened, I folded. I froze. I fawned. At work, I stayed in toxic workplaces longer than I should have. I avoided speaking up unless I had a perfect case, and even when I had a perfect case, I would sometimes freeze. I overexplained, I overcompensated, and I would even take on tasks just to avoid looking difficult. In love, I attracted partners who mirrored the double standards of my childhood. I lied to myself to keep the relationship going. I minimized their red flags and rationalized their control, saying something like, "It's not that bad. At least he's not hitting me." And that is what that kind of childhood does to you. You learn to self abandon so early on that it feels like it's second nature. Till one day you wake up deep into adulthood and you look at yourself in the mirror and realize it's nothing like you. I am imagining my 6 or 7, I don't remember how old I was back then. I remember walking here, and if I could just give her a hug, if I could just hold her other hand, if I could be her angel and tell her that everything works out. So I hope I can say it to my brother now. I may not be there to hold your hand, but everything works out and everything will be fine. This is how it goes recording these videos. The first 4 tries, I just bawl my eyes out. And on the 5th one, I feel like I've let it go, released it, and I can finally tell the story. But until then, there's a lot of tears. You know what I gotta say? It's definitely wild that this staircase still exists. It's wild that I walked up and down these stairs, and this is where I had to learn the lesson of how to be the judge and the defendant at the same time. It's wild that I remember so vividly going up these stairs that looked so huge to me back then. I remember that decision making, that pondering, that weighing down my options. Like it was yesterday. I remember going down these stairs holding my mom's hand after the visit and feeling that feeling of this was my fate. And I would be lying if I told you I don't feel something right now. I feel it. I also find it to be a really huge privilege to be able to come back here and reflect on everything, to be able to close a lot of chapters and let go and find my healing, and in a way take responsibility for being an adult. Because even though I have been really hurt as a child, now I'm an adult. Now I can provide myself with love and safety and comfort. I don't need to seek it out externally. I now am mature enough to understand that now my life is in my hands. I have the information of being hurt. I have the information of how to heal it. And now I have the decision to make. What am I going to do with it after? And yes, I am choosing to dig deep, to peel off the layers of the onion and understand exactly why I am the way that I am. And these stories, these videos help me process it. It helps me to heal, it helps me to move on, and it helps me to take responsibility of my life going forward. All of this begs a question of who do I want to be tomorrow? When I was 18 years old, I made a promise to myself that I will live a life where I have nothing to hide. I made that vow because of years of lying for survival. Because my mom made me choose between punishment and protection. And because church taught me that silence was holiness and obedience meant salvation. But what they really taught me was to live a double life, to smile on the outside and to shrink on the inside, to live according to the script and swallow the truth. But I don't live like that anymore. Not afraid of telling my story. I'm not scared that I will be punished for telling the truth. I'm not ashamed of my past, and I'm not afraid to be seen. I know that there are many truths in the world, but what I have learned is that I don't have to abandon mine in order to make somebody else feel comfortable. I don't have to keep lying to maintain peace that's on the surface level. And I don't have to bend the truth to keep the illusion alive. Now, I'm an open book. Not because I owe anybody the details, but because I finally lived a life where I have nothing to hide. And that feels like freedom. Feels like power. It feels like peace. If this story stirs something in you, if your childhood was a performance too, if you also had to lie in order to survive, to stay safe, to be loved, you're not alone. I see you, and I'm so glad you're here. Hit subscribe, drop a comment, tell me your story if you're ready. This is Hey Brother. Hey Brother. And we're telling stories we weren't allowed to tell together.